What's up, guys? Might not see me as clear. The light is pretty bright on here in this car. Turn this light on. No one like that. Maybe you can see me. And my stand is kind of messed up right now. Oh my gosh, it's really bad. Wish there was a way that I could possibly fix this, but I can't right now. For one thing, it doesn't stick to the window, to the windshield, and it's broke, so it keeps falling out. And then trying to adjust the lights on this doesn't help either. So let me just maybe I'll just go like this. Y'all just see my face just a little bit. But the face part really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to the voice and listen to what this discussion will be about our Dallas Cowboys. First things first, and let's get straight to the topic. Because I don't think this is going to be a very long video. And I just kind of want to get to the point. And something that I noticed last year, and actually even the year before that, and even in playing Madden. I mean, it really Madden doesn't have anything to do with it, but it's just funny sometimes. Even in the video game, um, we're going to talk about defensive end Demarcus Lawrence. Okay, if you don't know, for those casual fans that are out there that maybe heard of DLaw or whatnot, don't know what position he plays on the Dallas Cowboys, but you're just a casual fan of the Cowboys, then Demarcus Lawrence is the left defensive end on the defensive line. I'm trying to think of his number right now. It is kind of the number is just not conjuring up in my mind. I'm not even going to attempt to even give out his jersey number. But he's one of the most prominent players. You can say team captain on the team. One thing we do know of, he's one of the most highest paid players on the team, right? And we know that people have said that his productivity has gone down when it comes to sack totals. So for those that don't know, that's what really a defensive end should specialize in, is getting sacks. And if you're a high-paid player, you should always be putting up sack totals and the double digits. You know, you should be an unstoppable force. Well, not really unstoppable, but just dominant. Have a dominant presence. I'm not saying that teams do not game plan to neutralize defensive law. DLaw, because I think they do, because he's the best player on the defensive front, hands down. And I can understand, as we talk about the money in his new contract from 2 seasons ago, after surgery, his torn labrum or whatnot, and he got his new deal, and they're saying, uh, where are your sack totals? Because before you got your new deal, you was franchise tag, and you played on a prove it deal because you were just coming off of some double digit sacks, and then on your prove it deal, which was the franchise tag, and you duplicated that, So you show progression, you show some consistency. But then after you got the deal, after you got the surgery, and then got the deal, and ever since these past two seasons, you have not gotten your double digit sacks, right? So if people saying he's overpaid and because he's not putting up the sack productivity that he did prior to his new deal. And it sounds like he's a player that got paid and starting to lay it down. And I'm not trying to speak in a negative light. I'm just echoing some of the chatter out there on social media about our players, on the some of our prominent players with the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so um, this is what my observation has been, even through the defensive debacle that we had this past season. And I was all for it. I'll say that again. I was all for it for multiple fronts because I just thought that I mean, I like the multiple fronts to keep diversity, a diverse style on defense, but keep it simple at the same time. And it was just a bad time. We've heard this. It was just bad timing during during the climate that we were in, and the lack the lack of preparation, the time for preparation to implement a new scheme that a team was not was not familiar with, and that it required not only just practice time, but some study time, some hands-on, uh, getting very detail oriented uh, about how to play within the scheme, how to play your game within the scheme, and get into the nuances on how and what you specialize in, or what are your strengths, and how you can use them to either counter or use them to your advantage in playing within the scheme. So that's the game within the game. Because all the players have some type of specialty, especially on the defensive line, where defense or DLaw, it might be better a swim rush versus a bull rush. You know, stuff like that, and how to use that versus the pass or versus the run within the scheme, because sometimes a scheme might cause you to crash left, crash right, or they might do a stunt, or they might just go straight up hat on hat, and that's when you can use your techniques that you specialize in. Now I could be wrong. I mean, he could be laying down. But I don't think that's the case, because D Law's natural position is right in. And through my observation, even last year, you look at D Law sacks, most of them came from the right end position. And now that's where the dilemma lies, because we have another right end in Randy Gregory. We also alternated Alden Smith, who knows if he will be back or not, but that's neither here nor there. The the, the bigger issue is between him and Randy Gregory. And Randy Gregory looked like he was coming on strong. He was going to get his sack totals up, but Randy Gregory is not good against the run. He still needs to refine his run stopping ability. Now, this is why DLaw is playing left end, not only because he can get his sacks from the right, from the left, but he's also, I'm going to say, adequate to solid in run stopping. He's the best run stopper out of all of our ends, hands down. Whether he's more talented or he just gets it, you know what I'm saying? One or the other. Or he has the wherewithal along with the skill to do so, and he can't get burned. And we need to understand that on the offensive line, the right guard and right tackle is normally the side that you would typically run the ball. That's where anybody knows that is where that's the side you would typically run the ball in between your guard and tackle or off the tackle. So hitting those gaps right there, I think that's the C gap, if I'm not mistaken, or the B gap, one of the two. I think it's the B gap. Maybe I don't know, but anyway, that's not the point. The only point that I'll make it is that that's where a lot of teams run the ball. Like for us, especially those that have a power run. When I speak of that, look at that's how Lamar Jackson. That's where he gutted us, and for that long touchdown run is in between the right guard and right tackle. Point case, right? And so, if anything, on the defensive line, besides a defensive tackle, one defensive tackle that's a hog that can clog up the space. See, and I'm going to get to that after. Matter of fact, I'm going to add that to this after I talk about DLaw. Is that truly we need a defensive left end run stopper or power rusher that can, but also has some skill to stop the run at the same time. And we would see and move DLaw maybe occasionally. You're gonna move them around anyway. That they've been doing that in the past 3 years or so. Is that you moving from left to right in so that this brother can eat up quarterbacks, and that to make a point in case, you see how Alden Smith got off to a hot start, and he kind of fizzled only because I think he had to get his conditioning, his legs under him, and then we saw splashes of it, but then we saw Randy Gregory gets coming. It came in splashes, once he got back off suspension, and actually he finished strong this past season. But it's all history now, and this leads me to make a video like this to say that, another point case, look at Robert Quinn the season before this past season, the season prior to this 2020 season. Robert Quinn got 12 sacks from the right side, but it's from the benefit. but it all came from the assistance of DLaw being on the opposite end and more attention going to him. But the only problem with Robert Quinn is that he was not a good run stopper from the right end. And DLaw would be your best run stopper from the right end and your best sack artist from the right end, with Randy Gregory being a rotational player at right end if he doesn't improve on his run stopping ability. Just a little bit more. Doesn't have to be a lot. So yes, so that's all Randy Gregory does have to improve upon. And then let's just say, for instance, things remain the way they are, where DLaw remains at left end, Randy Gregory is on your right, and Randy Gregory does improve his run stopping ability, because we know that he can get to the quarterback, all right, and be disruptive. He's a disruptor, and we just need an enforcer on that side as well, on the right side, which DLaw gives you. To me, DLaw gives you both that. Um, but Randy Gregory, excuse me, could actually up his game, refine his game, and become better at run stopping. That would take a lot of pressure and make it, and and keep it consistent. That's the main thing. Keep it consistent. Have some consistency per game of being a sack artist, or and letting runners know you're not going to run left on us either, in between the guard and center, or the guard and left tackle. So um, so that's my thoughts on this whole thing with our defensive line, and that can be a slight adjustment, is that we get a left end that is solely going to be made for the run stopping. And I prefer a big left end, a that does have some twitch to him, like close to 300 pounds. If we can get like uh, Eric Armstead type player, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Um, that can get upfield, man, a power rusher, but also can play the run well. Now we cooking, you know, and we get now, and we get that defensive tackle, and this is where I can come in, and I'm adding this on to this topic, making it two. So I'm segueing. When it comes to defensive tackle, and we're looking for that stuffer, that Wilford type guy that's gonna eat up blockers. We can't expect for him to be able to get up field, but we are expecting him to just push the pocket and free up some space for our linebackers by taking on double blocks, being double teamed and blocking, and occasionally get upfield. You know what I'm saying, when they don't. So he has to have that, and we can't. And to be honest with you, just like in the 3-4 defense, zero technique, those guys, you don't have to draft those guys high. You can find those guys in the later round, but as long as he has some skill, and you can let Gallimore and Hamilton, Woods, if we keep them, you know what I'm saying, Tristan Hill, you can let those guys eat. And as a matter of fact, speaking of that, Tristan Hill might be the perfect guy to play left end. I just thought of that. That just popped in my mind. Because we know that he can get upfield. We know that he can get upfield. Now, he might not have enough twitch to get outside of him. I mean, to get to like run down a runner if they try to go wide outside, you know what I'm saying, off tackle, stuff like that, sweeps, you know what I'm saying. But I think he can do it. I mean, it would just take some effort at the same time. But he could get burned. He can get burnt. But it's more about him being a run stopper and a power rusher, as far as being able to push the pocket on the edge, collapse the edge. You know what I'm saying? Because he does have that burst to get upfield now. And he can be like a rotational guy playing in and out. You know what I'm saying? When it's more likely to be a run play on some downs, and then put him in the middle for a run play or potential pass, and let your hog, your 315, 320 pound guy eat up a double team to open up space for your linebackers, for your edge rushers, and for your more light-footed defensive tackles, like your Gallimores or whatnot. So who knows? Yeah, guys, I'm about to shut this down because I'm driving and I'm trying to get up back home to Virginia, and I've been up all night. I've been up since 5 o'clock yesterday morning, um, because I got a load, and it's supposed to be an easy 3-stop pickup, and it turned out to be longer than it's supposed to. And then once I got home, finally got home after traffic and stuff, because I got held up. It I just never got a chance to rest. To be honest with you, at least get a nap before I hit the road. But I got to go and handle some business back home, from where I'm from, and come back. And I just had to pull off on the side of the road. But I did this just to talk to you guys, just to keep me alive. I mean, to keep me alert and stuff like that. But I really had to pull over. So with that being said, guys, I just want y'all to contemplate and really think about what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you. And if you like the content that I'm putting out here for us as fans, you know what I'm saying? Just for the love of the team, just for the love of the sport, and particularly the team, um, because I definitely want to talk about that, and some things that need to change, just as far as, but it's not my call. It's only me from a outsider looking in, and only hoping that, oh, I only wish that, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones actually listen to the videos, and maybe they do. Who knows? I know my viewership is not explosive like most, but it's okay. Um, it's for the love of football, and it's a love for a team that I chose as the Dallas Cowboys to be able to show and prove. Is because we're not a team that is at 6-10. I think in one of my previous I said 9-7, but at 6-10 we're right there in the middle of the pack, and we're teeter tottering, depending on what we do in this up and coming free agent signing. And I'm talking about the free agents that we have on the team or out on the market. You know what I'm saying? And our draft picks. So we have some real strategic due diligent work to do, to be honest with you, and we cannot whiff on our 10th pick. So when it comes to finding uh some of those key players, I mean some of those players or the possible switch up with D-Law and everything else I was talking about, the D line and stuff like that. I hope you find it interesting, and I hope that you can really grasp and see that happening. Matter of fact, I would say go back and look at last season and see where majority of, and I would say almost between 80-85% of the time where D Laws got his snaps off the right end, he was at least applying pressure. Matter of fact, that's how he got the strip sack fumble. I think it was the New York Giants, if I'm not mistaken. No, was it the New York game last season? It was one of those games in the later part of the season. Matter of fact, I think it was the Giants. You know, saying the second time around, maybe, maybe, or the first time around, one of the two. I think it was the first game we played. We got the strip sack fumble in the second half, at the top of the second half. So I would just say go back and look at it to see if that's something that you also see with and confirm it, and it only confirms everything I just talked about. Now going into the defensive line, the Tristan Hill and stuff like that, that's just that's without tape. That's just my observation, and it was a last minute thought that popped up in my head. So yes. Um, but I'm gonna get off this live stream, and I will talk to you guys later. This is Anthony Fallon. Peace. I'm out. Tone Set Sports Channel.